Hey friends, welcome back to Advanced Weekly Update. We're here to update you on some very modern English. Now, we all know that we're from different generations, right? I'm a millennial, which means that I was born between, I think, the 80s and early 90s. You're not a millennial.
I'm not a millennial. I am Gen X.
Ooh, Gen X always, I think that sounds pretty cool. It sounds like you're a superhero.
We're not, unfortunately, the generation that went to Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
The X-Men.
But we are people born between about 1960 and 1975.
What generation are you? If you know your generation in English, put it in there. Before Generation X are the boomers, right?
Correct, yeah.
The baby boomers.
It's interesting. Generation X was the first generation to be called by an alphabetical letter.
Yeah.
It's based on a book, a fiction book, written about that generation called Generation X.
Interesting.
Written by a guy named Douglas Copeland. Came out in the mid-90s.
Wow, interesting to know. I did not know that. And hi, Steve. Good afternoon. Hi, JJ. How are you? So happy to have you guys here joining us later on YouTube also as well. By the way, take that poll if you see it there. Are you, yes, you, Steve, you, JJ, up to date on the lingo of the young generation? Now, first of all, being up to date on something means like
being, it's funny, that's a phrase that we can't really describe without using it.
Yeah, being up to date means up to date. It means you're not behind, you're up to date.
Current.
On your vaccines, you're up to date.
You're not old-fashioned.
Yeah, you don't want to be old-fashioned.
You're not behind the times. You're up with the times. You're maybe even in front of the times.
Maybe even you might be inventing new language as we speak.
You could be ahead of your time.
Yeah, there we go. Ahead of the times. And Gen Z is kind of where the times are at. Right now, they have this, the internet makes fun of Gen Z a lot, but it's important, it's important to study the current lingo, in my opinion, because today's new slang terms might be tomorrow's regular English. So it's worth noting, especially if you explore the internet, if you're on Twitter or if you're looking at English memes, it's helpful to know why people say things. Well, let's jump into it. We've got a discussion question too. What are some, because we want to learn as well more about Taiwanese culture here, what are some slang terms, slang means lingo, kind of what the kids are using, some appropriate slang terms, please, that you have learned, and what do they mean? So what have you learned about your English? I'm also curious, what are some slang terms here, like in Chinese, that the kids are using?
I used to know a slang term. I taught at a high school for a year, and there was some slang term to describe foreigners. In fact, I remember it now. They're called internationals.
That doesn't sound like a slang term. That sounds pretty mild.
I know. Well, see, that's the thing. But, when my students would say it with a cocked eyebrow and a wink to each other, you knew that it was not... Because, it does on its face sound kind of, almost glamorous even, international. Whoa. Yeah. But it meant, foreigner who doesn't know what we're talking about right now, which was me most of the time. So there you go.
Internationals. Well, it's funny how sometimes slang terms are older, more refined terms that are used in a comedic way. So let's jump into it. Okay, first one is easy. Do you guys know what, if I said, hey fam, what's up? Hey fam, F-A-M.
F-A-M.
I feel like that's one you could just guess.
Yeah, there's a hint right in the spelling of it.
Yo, fam.
Fam.
So me and the fam were hanging out. It's short for family, but it doesn't necessarily mean family. Kind of like the term bro, it means your friends, right? Your fam.
Well,
me and the fam.
Bro, of course, from brother. B-R-O,
right. You guys know bro? Bro has been a slang term for a while. If you don't know bro is what you'd call typically your guy friends. I guess you could call a girl, what's up, bro, if you wanted to be silly. But
also hear it as bruh sometimes, or
B-R-U-H.
B-R-U-H.
Yeah, we should have taught bro. That's more like my generation's slang.
Yeah, no, that's older slang. Yeah.
So now it's fam. And no, I'm not Gen Z, for those of you just joining. I am a millennial. Yeah. I'm the older generation now. Okay, now we have this term that is fun, a glow up. Glow means to shine, right? Ming, like, or jing, like to shine. And a glow up is a short term, a slang term for a makeover. Do you know what a makeover is? If one day Peter walked in here and he's got a tan and he's got new clothes, he just got a glow up. And so a glow up means to be, we're gonna cover yours in a second there. A glow up means like basically a makeover. So you can get a glow up for anything. Your website can get a glow up. You can get a glow up. There's all kinds of ways to do that.
It's kind of drawn a little bit from the term grow up in that it both involves an improvement of some kind, an enhancement. But in this case, it's not just about biology or emotional maturity. It's like he was saying, it's like a makeover. It's you don't just grow up, you glow up.
Yeah, that's right. Get your glow on. Okay, so we've got some slang coming in here. Okay, TLDR. Yeah, okay, wait, I see that. And he says it means long story short. Long story short.
Too long did not read. That's what
too long did not read.
Yeah.
Oh, that means like
very social media term.
Yeah, I didn't. This paragraph was too long. Too long did not read. Wow, look at you go. That was great.
And they'll put it at the beginning of a short summary of a long paragraph, so that if you don't want to read it, if you think the paragraph is too long, did not read, just look for TLDR, and that will give you a short summary of what was said.
I see. B, you've got emo. Yeah, emo is a classic one.
Emo.
Kids that wear dark clothes, sometimes makeup, dark
style
makeup.
Of music too, pop music.
Yeah,
emo.
Very emotional, kind of dark emotional. Woo, you learned it on Reddit. Reddit, there we go. The front page of the internet, Reddit. Steve, the appropriate slang term I learned is to be self-confidence in the meeting when foreigners have a conversation with you. Oh, I see. Self-confidence. Okay, so self-confidence is to like to be sure of yourself.
Yes. To be comfortable in the situation.
Oh wait,
it's
Steve,
not really slang, but it is a good quality.
I think Steve is saying that he has picked up slang terms so that he can use them when he's talking in English and feel more self-confident. Actually, that is one of probably the number 2 reason we're teaching you slang terms, because even though conventional wisdom is that the fancier your vocabulary gets, the more natural you'll sound, the more native. It's not necessarily true. It's important to know the high-level vocabulary when you're reading, or if you're doing business, of course, just in general to know it. But I think Steve makes a good point that the more you know the slang and how people actually speak, the more native you'll sound, right? That's true in Chinese, right? If I speak like I'm speaking out of, Journey to the West, then you'd be like, that guy, he learned it from a book. But if I'm using the slang terms, then you might think, wow, John has been here for a while.
Now, do you know this one, Jiao Qin?
Jiao Qin. Hello, teacher John and Peter. Hello to you. Not sure if this term is considered Gen Z language, but I learned it recently. Spill the tea. Okay, I think of spill the beans. It means like
spill the beans.
It means like to let out a secret. Spill the tea sounds like to make an accident. I'm not sure, but I'll look it up. Wait, hang on. Is this a Chinese slang? Zhao Qin? Okay, we'll get back to this. Steve, JJ says lol. Yeah, LOL means laugh out loud. Laugh out loud.
I thought JJ was actually laughing out loud at something.
I thought he was too, but no, just saying lol is a term.
Probably just sharing a term.
So this is how young I am. Sometimes I've gotten in the bad habit of saying lol instead of laughing.
Yeah.
Confession.
Or OMG.
Yeah.
OMG, I was in the office all day yesterday, or, the work just never stopped coming.
Yeah, lol, laugh out loud. Evangeline, LKK, that's Taiwanese. Too old to catch up. Ooh, interesting. Lao KK. What does that stand for? I'm really curious. Too old to catch up. Like, just kind of, I give up. I'm too old to catch up. Interesting. Well, this is good stuff. Okay, let's get into the next bit of vocab we have here. And the next vocab term we've got is the CEO of something. Okay, do you know this one? You know a CEO, Jensen Huang is the CEO of NVIDIA, the one in charge. But if I say, oh man, Peter, I am the CEO of forgetting to wake up to my alarm. It means I'm like the best at it, Yeah. So it's kind of a self-depreciating or a way of, you can use it positively. Be like, guys, I am the CEO of making good ramen, and to say I'm like the best.
Yeah.
It just means the best. It's funny. Lao Coco. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this with my kids. And tell a secret, to spill the tea. Okay, things are coming together, guys. This is good. All right, now here's one that I read so many times in articles about celebrities, and I didn't know what it means until recently. A stan. That's actually my grandpa's name, Stan, short for Stanley. But here a stan is a fan and a stalker. A stalker and a fan.
A very passionate, maybe too passionate fan of something. Comes from an old song by a white rapper called Eminem. Maybe he's known over here too, in which the term first appeared. That's going back about year 2000, I think.
He wrote a song about a fan named Stan.
Stan, yeah.
That's right, a fan named Stan.
Which behaved like an overzealous, overly passionate fan of him.
Yeah, so a stan, it's actually not necessarily a bad term though. It's kind of, again, it's sort of a joking way of saying like, I'm more than just a fan, I'm a stalker of this person. So you know, now oftentimes people talk about their stans, like they're true fans that follow them online and see what they're doing. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Steve, you always keep Old English learning because both Gen Z and Old English were really important for everyone. Yeah, it's true. You kind of have to mix it up with both. Okay, now the simplest English the simplest English word you'll learn all year. W. It's almost as simple as the word I and the word A, but it's a W and it's short for something.
Win.
The win. And you can say the W, the win. So you could either say, wow, Peter for the W on knowing his slang. Wow. It means it literally means to win, but you can use it as an adjective. You could say, wow, that shirt is a W. That whole idea is a W. Like that's a win.
You will sometimes hear it used to refer to former American President George W. Bush,
okay,
who was sometimes known simply as W.
Or W.
Right,
you call him W. Remember George
Texas,
Bush?
Had the accent, not W, but W. George W. Bush.
That's right, George W. All right, so now ghosting. You've heard about ghosts? Woo! Have you heard about ghosting? It means to kind of cut someone off, but not tell them. Let's say you're chatting, you're on a dating app, you're chatting with someone, and then they never respond to you. They have ghosted you.
Yeah, and become like a ghost.
Yeah, but that can happen in friendships or just in general. Or you could joke that, are you guys ghosting me? You know, you text, someone's not texting you back. It's really about online communication.
Yeah, not getting a response.
That's right, ghosting. You kind of just fade away into the background.
It's interesting too, because when I first started hearing that term, I thought it was about someone who is kind of like being a stalker, because that's what ghosts do.
Yeah, like following around.
In the movies, they haunt you. They stalk you and menace you.
But it's the opposite. You got a stan on one end of the spectrum. Right. Your stans, and then people that have ghosted you on the other end. They don't. Who knows what they're up to? Okay, B, stan equals stalker plus fan. Isn't necessarily a bad term. Right, it's not.
Right.
So you can
Even though stalker is a bad term.
Yeah, because on the internet you follow a lot of people, right? Or at least you can. And you're not really being a stalker, even if you're Googling them to see what they're up to, right? It's kind of the new term for a fan that really is passionate.
Yeah, so, very passionate.
Like any word, you could use it negatively, but generally it's kind of a way of saying, like if you said, I am a stan of Taylor Swift, I follow her on Twitter and I go to her concerts, I'm a stan. You know, I'm really like a follower. Are you a stan of anyone? Who are you a stan of, all of you guys out there? I'd be curious to know. Okay, this term, you'll hear it a lot, salty, salty. And salty means to have a little bit of an attitude.
Yeah.
Say, wow, you were just pretty salty there.
Yeah, which is interesting because the term used to mean something similar to that several generations ago when we used it to describe bad language.
Salty language.
Yeah, someone would say, hey, you know, we can't print this in the magazine. The language is too salty.
Yeah.
It's got too much, street and profanity in it and stuff like that. Salty language. It's funny now the word coming around again to mean, again, something kind of negative.
Yeah. One
excessive.
definition is jealous. Like, if you're jealous of someone and you say like something bad about them, your friend would be like, bro, that was pretty salty right there. Or if you come off with an attitude, but salty, it's worth knowing. You will see that one a lot. Here's one that is very Gen Z, to be extra. I could say, if Peter comes in and in his coffee, he has little marshmallows. I could say, Peter, those marshmallows, that's so extra. That's so extra. It means like a little bit excessive, more than you really need, but in kind of a positive, fun way. So you could be like, you know what? It wasn't too cold outside, but I was feeling a little extra, and I wore a scarf today.
Yeah, yeah.
Just have like a little fancy.
Yeah, if you have, not just the ordinary sneakers you wear, but like the Air Jordans.
There you go.
The special brand. You really turned out extra for the game today for the basketball.
Yeah, just a little extra effort, just a little bit more than you need. Another one. Have you heard of the phrase low key? We want to teach the opposite today, which is brand new, high key. If something is low key, you could say, you know what, I before we were married, I really liked my wife, but I kept it pretty low key. Like I didn't share my feelings. But the opposite of that is to be Highkey, which is just to be like totally obvious
on
about
caffeine,
something. Yeah.
You know, just really high energy and rapid speech and just very excessive. High key, low key. Low key is like, hey.
Yeah, just like cool, like low key, you know, not
High
a big
key
deal.
is, you know, John, basically.
Yeah, basically all the time. I'm a stan of advanced. There you go, B. Yes, I subscribe to the magazine and the YouTube channel. Shout out to all our stans out there. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's a good thing to be a stan of something that you like. Zhao Qin, and you said, ooh, do you say someone is sour? Yes, you do. We do in Chinese, which usually means someone is jealous of what others have. Yeah, to be sour. You could say like a sour attitude. There's this term, a sourpuss, like a cat that's like, and so you'd be like, to have a sour expression. We don't use it as much, but you could say, you know, I was soured by the, you know, whatever it was.
Yeah, didn't like something, turned you off.
Yeah.
Not really slang, but just a word you can use, you know, regardless of which generation you're in.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Evangeline, thank you. Too over from Chinese. Too much to tolerate. That's like too over. Can you give us that in pinyin? Because both of us are really struggling with our Chinese reading. Too over, like that was too over. Is that like a bad thing? Like, it was too over, like you can't deal with it anymore. So yeah, maybe too over.
Sounds similar to extra, maybe too extra. Because extra is already too much. So if it's too extra, then it's like, you know, I come in with coffee with a giant marshmallow in it that is like bigger than the coffee or something.
Too over. Well, okay. I'd be curious. Last word here. It's another acronym. TFW. And do you guys know what memes are? I'm sure you know what they are, but M-E-M-E, a meme is a picture with a caption on it, right? So memes are all over the internet, as you already know. But TFW is a great like meme term. It means that feeling when. That feeling when.
Yeah,
and so
be like that. You'd put this text on a meme, a picture of someone, and it'd be something like that feeling when you spent all this money on a new hat, and someone else showed up with a better hat that they found in a garbage can.
And it's a picture of like, you know, someone going like, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when something ironic has happened to you, or when something unexpected has happened to you.
Yeah.
That feeling when you can use it for a variety of things, really. It's just kind of a way to introduce what you're about to talk about.
Yeah. You could put a picture of like a really happy cat, and then put a picture of advanced there and say that feeling when I read advanced, or something like that.
There you go.
So anyway, B, you've got one more here for us, to go overboard. Yeah, go overboard and the term high key are actually very similar.
Yeah.
Like I totally went overboard. I was really high key, you know, telling my wife that I loved her. And
what's the difference between high key and extra? Is there a difference?
Okay, extra would be like you could there's definitely an overlap. Normally extra is like describing something. But you could also say, no, they're actually very, very similar.
Okay.
So you could say, like, that coffee was so extra. You wouldn't really say high key about, like, food. You might say high key about fashion.
More about an attitude, more about an emotion, more about a feeling?
Yeah, like, so to use some of these in a sentence, you could say, you know, I'm pretty high key about Taylor Swift. I'm a total stan. Yeah. And you know, TFW, you see a Taylor Swift concert? That feeling when?
Yes,
I don't know.
TFW.
I'm not Gen Z, so we're all trying to learn here together.
Best.
I'd love to see your best sentence. Post a sentence using as many of these vocabulary in one sentence, so only one period, as you can. The most vocabulary words in one sentence wins, and you win our admiration. All right, friends.
It has to make sense.
It has to make sense. All right, ready, go. We appreciate you all. Enjoy your Monday. Get back to work, whatever you're doing there. Maybe you're jogging. Maybe you're being a stan of your favorite celebrity right now. We love you guys. We really do. It looks like a little bit won for our poll. A third of everybody was just like, no, I'm not up to date. You know, and I don't know if I'm up to date, but we're getting
more
there.
Up to date than me.
Well, I got to get up to date on my Chinese. Friends, we love you guys. God bless, and we'll see you next Monday. Happy vacation. Go sweep some tombs, say hi to some kids in your life, and get some rest. 好，